trainers, welcome to summer 2020. We are so excited that you're joining us for virtual camp. Smiles and I have some crafts for you, and today, because it's the first day of camp, we actually have two Wagon Train classics. So the first one we're going to start with is lanyards. Now, if you've been to Wagon Train before, you've definitely seen these around camp. So we are going to teach you a couple different ways to start 2-string lanyards, and then we'll show you how to tie them off and everything. So Smiles is going to walk you through how to do them, and I'm going to give you the instructions as we go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over the classic way to start a lanyard. This is the normal way of doing it. This is how we started this lanyard right here. And Smiles is going to show you with this purple and red string. So we're going to use the purple string as string 1 and the red string as string 2. So the first thing that Smiles is going to do is she's going to fold the strings in half and find the middle point. Once she does that, she's going to match up the two middle points of the two strings. We're going to put string 1 on the bottom and string 2 on top. So again, the purple one is on the bottom and the red one is on top. Now she's going to put the two center pieces to make an X. They're not going to be on top of each other, going in the same direction. They're going to go in two different directions. Now she's going to do 2 loops with the purple, and I like to call them rainbows. She's going to take the first purple piece and she's going to bring it down, making one rainbow in one direction. And then she's going to take the other purple string, fold it over the other side in the opposite direction, making another rainbow. So she's got 2 loops and they're going in 2 different directions. And you'll notice that she's holding one of the pieces down with her other finger so that they're not flopping all over the place. Now what she's going to do is she's going to take string 2, the red string, the one on the right side, and she's going to bring it over the first loop and through the second loop. So over the first rainbow, through the second one, and pull it tight. Now she's going to take the other red string from the other side, and she's going to go over the first loop and through the second one, just like she did the first time. Now you'll notice that the purple strings, there's one that hasn't been gone through on one side, but it has been gone through on the second side. So both purple strings are not gone through with both red. They're both weaved through separately. You'll also notice that they're not crossing each other. Smiles is making sure they're not mixing or crossing in any weird way, because that'll make your strings twist. And you don't want your strings to twist because then your lanyard will look really funky. So now this is kind of the hardest part in starting a lanyard. What she's going to do is she's going to finish the first stitch. So she's going to take one red string and one purple string in one hand. She's going to take the other purple string and the other red string in the other hand, and she's going to pull tight very slowly. If you go too fast, you'll lose the stitch. So once she tightens it, she can even switch the strings so that the other purple and a red is in one hand. She already did it. It'll turn out the same way no matter what, so don't panic. But once she tightens it and makes sure they're not twisted, she has her first stitch. It looks like a little square. And that's it. That's the way that you do this, and you keep the same pattern the whole way. Now, the classic method can be a little tricky, so we're going to show you a simpler way of starting lanyards too. We're going to do that with this yellow and green string. So the yellow string is going to be string 1, and the green string is going to be string 2. So the simpler way of starting this, you fold it in half, just like we did with the red and the purple. And once you find that middle point, instead of making your cross right away, you're actually going to tie the yellow string, string 1, around string 2 and make a knot. This makes starting the stitch much easier because the string isn't trying to fall out of your hand while you're making the stitch. So now that we have the little knot there, you're hardly going to see it once the lanyard is finished. Smiles is going to flip that over so that the knot is on the bottom. And she's going to make the 2 rainbow loops with the yellow just like she did with the purple. They go in opposite directions, And now she's going to take the green and go over the first rainbow and through the second one in one direction. And again, over the first rainbow and through the second one in the other direction. Again, making sure these don't get twisted. If they do look twisted, it'll look something like this. And we don't want that. So make sure they're staying on their own side. They don't get crossed. If they do get crossed, that's okay. You can take the stitch out and start over again. Again, you don't have to panic. Now Smiles is going to take one yellow and one green in one hand, the other two in the other hand, and pull it tight. And you have your first stitch. So you're going to continue that pattern of making rainbows and going over the first one and through the second one the whole time. Now, if Smiles did rainbows with the yellow to start with, and then she started making rainbows with the green ones, that's okay too. It's going to turn out the exact same way no matter what. So if you change up the pattern, that's okay. It's going to look the same. Now, one thing I want to mention too, as Smiles continues with her pink and blue one that she started earlier, you want to try and tighten it to the same amount every time. If you tighten it really, really, really tight, and then you make it kind of loose, and then do another one really, really tight, it's going to look a little wonky. So you want to try and keep it consistent the whole time. So Smiles is going over the first pink, through the second pink, and pulling it tight. Now, once you finish your lanyard, let's say you only have a little bit of lanyard string left, you're going to want to tie it off. Even though this one isn't finished and Smiles has a lot of string left, we're going to show you how to finish it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one pink and one blue in one hand, one pink and one blue in the other hand, or string 1 and string 2, whatever your colors are, in one hand, and you're just going to make a simple knot. There are other ways of tying it off. If you don't feel like this is secure enough, you can tie another knot or find another way of doing it. No one way is better than another, but this is just a simple way of tying it off so that you have a secure lanyard. No one knot is better than another, so this is just a simple way for you to tie off your lanyard, and I hope you enjoyed it. That's it.